Hello friends, how are you? Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of United States 1-cent coins, their value, iconic designs, incredible history, hidden treasures, and the surprising stories behind seemingly ordinary pennies. In this video, we're exploring three 2000s Lincoln cents that can attract attention from collectors: the 2003 Lincoln cent with no visible mint mark, the 2004 Lincoln cent with no visible mint mark, and the 2007 Lincoln cent with no visible mint mark. These coins may look ordinary at first. Some may be dirty, scratched, dark, brown, reddish, or show unusual color shades from years of circulation and storage. But when you're searching through old change, those small details can make you stop and take a closer look. Could one of these coins contain a genuine mint error, an unusual variety, or an exceptionally well-preserved condition that makes it more interesting to collectors? That's what we're going to investigate today. But here's something very important. A missing mint mark does not automatically make a penny rare or valuable. Some United States cents were intentionally produced without a mint mark, so collectors have to look at the complete coin, not just the date or absence of a letter. We'll also explore the difference between P and D mint marks, genuine minting errors, post-mint damage, unusual colors, condition, collector demand, and the factors that can influence a coin's market and auction value. And remember, when you hear claims that an ordinary penny is worth thousands, or even millions of dollars, don't believe the number just because it appears in a video or online listing. The real value depends on the exact coin, its condition, authenticity, recognized variety or error, and actual collector demand. So before you spend that old penny, stick around, because you might have a coin worth taking a much closer look at. Now let's begin with our first coin, the 2003 Lincoln cent with no visible mint mark. First coin, welcome back to Change Your Life. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of United States coins, and this time we are looking at a coin that many people may have already seen without realizing what they were holding. Our focus today is the 2003 Lincoln Memorial cent with no mint mark. Could this little 1-cent coin be worth more than 1 cent? Could damage, unusual color, a strange strike, or a genuine minting error make a difference? And what do collectors actually look for when they examine a 2003 Lincoln cent? Before we begin, there is one very important point. If someone calls a 2003 coin a wheat penny, that description is technically incorrect. The classic Lincoln wheat reverse was used from 1909 through 1958. By 2003, the United States was producing the Lincoln Memorial cent, with the Lincoln Memorial appearing on the reverse. So when we talk about a 2003 coin with no mint mark, we are talking about a Lincoln Memorial cent, not a wheat penny. Now look closely at the coin. On the front is the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Around him are the inscriptions in God We Trust, Liberty, and the date 2003. If there is no mint mark beneath the date, that indicates a Philadelphia business strike cent. That missing letter is not automatically an error. In fact, millions of ordinary coins were made without a mint mark. And this is where many coin videos become confusing. A coin having no mint mark does not automatically make it rare. A coin being old-looking does not automatically make it valuable. A coin being dark, dirty, scratched, stained, or discolored does not automatically mean it is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. The real question is, what exactly makes this particular coin different from the millions of other coins from the same year? That is what we are going to investigate today. The first coin we are examining is the normal 2003 Philadelphia Lincoln cent with no mint mark. If your coin is circulated and shows ordinary wear from being carried in pockets, used in stores, dropped on the ground, or stored loosely with other coins, its value is generally close to face value. Current market listings and reported sales show that ordinary 2003 cents are not automatically valuable simply because they have no mint mark. But now comes the interesting part. Condition can completely change the collecting story. Imagine finding a 2003 cent that appears almost untouched. The original red color is still strong. Lincoln's portrait has sharp details, the lettering is crisp, the reverse design is clean, and the surfaces have very few marks. This is the kind of coin that can attract collectors who specialize in modern Lincoln cents. Professional grading can become especially important at the highest levels. A normal circulated coin may be worth only a cent, while a superb certified example can bring significantly more. Recent reported sales include a PCGS MS66 RD 2003 P cent, at about $20, and several MS67 RD examples, around the $17 to $24 range. Exceptional MS69 RD examples have recently been reported around $100 to $180. Notice something important here. The difference is not simply the year. All of these coins say 2003. The difference is condition, grade, certification, and collector demand. This brings us to our second coin, the damaged 2003 cent. Maybe your coin is dark, maybe it has scratches, maybe it has green or brown discoloration, maybe it looks black around the edges, maybe someone polished it, perhaps it has been exposed to moisture or chemicals. At first glance, unusual color can make a coin look mysterious, but collectors do not automatically pay more simply because a coin has an unusual appearance. Damage is damage. Environmental exposure can create colors and surfaces that look unusual, but an unusual color is not necessarily a mint error. A scratch made after the coin left the mint is not a mint error. A coin that was bent, cleaned, painted, coated, chemically altered, or damaged by machinery after leaving the mint usually does not become valuable simply because the damage looks dramatic. This is why you should never clean your coin before having it examined. Do not use metal polish. Do not use abrasive material. Do not scratch the surface. Do not try to make an old-looking coin shiny. A collector would much rather see the original surface than a freshly polished surface. Now let's move to our third coin, the 2003 cent with a possible minting error. This is where coin hunting becomes much more exciting. A genuine mint error happens during the manufacturing process. It is not something that happened years later in someone's pocket. Examples can include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, struck-through errors, die breaks, and certain forms of genuine doubling. Suppose you find a 2003 cent where the design is dramatically shifted toward the edge, leaving part of the blank planchet visible. That could be an off-center strike. The degree of the error, the location, whether the date remains visible, and the overall quality can all influence collector interest. Error specialists often study these coins carefully because a dramatic and authentic mint error can be much more interesting than a normal damaged cent. But there is another trap: machine doubling. A coin can appear doubled without actually being a valuable double die variety. Machine doubling can create a flat, shelf-like appearance that inexperienced collectors may mistake for a true doubled die. That is why you should not look at a blurry photograph and immediately declare a coin worth hundreds of dollars. Real attribution matters. Look closely at the date, Liberty, and In God We Trust. Examine the lettering under magnification. If you believe you have genuine doubling or another major error, compare the coin with reliable references or have it examined by an experienced numismatist or professional grading service. Now let's talk about the fourth and most exciting category, the exceptionally high-grade 2003 Philadelphia cent. This is where a coin that looks completely ordinary can become interesting to specialists. Think about how many 2003 cents have spent more than 20 years in circulation. They have passed through vending machines, cash registers, pockets, drawers, coin jars, parking lots, and countless transactions. Most have acquired marks and wear. But imagine a coin that somehow escaped that journey. Its original red surface remains attractive. Lincoln's portrait is sharp. The reverse is clean. There are very few contact marks. The coin has strong luster and exceptional eye appeal. If such a coin receives a very high professional grade, it can attract collectors looking for top-quality examples. Recent reported sales demonstrate this clearly. A 2003 PCGS MS69RD was reported sold for about $179.95 in July 2026, while other MS69RD examples have sold around $100. That does not mean your 2003 penny is automatically worth $100 or $180. Far from it. It means that exceptional certified examples can have a completely different market from ordinary circulated coins. This distinction is extremely important for anyone watching videos about rare coins. The internet is filled with headlines saying, "This penny is worth thousands," but the headline may be describing one extraordinary coin with a rare error, a unique variety, or an exceptional grade. It does not mean every coin from that year has the same value. So if you have a 2003 no mint mark cent, what should you do? First, check the date. Second, check the mint mark area. No mint mark on a normal 2003 Philadelphia cent is expected. Do not assume that the absence of a letter is itself an error. Third, examine the overall condition. Look for original surfaces. Look for strong detail. Look for serious scratches, cleaning, corrosion, or environmental damage. Fourth, inspect the coin under good lighting and magnification. Look carefully at the date and lettering. Check the edges. Examine the reverse. Look for an unusual strike, missing design details, major off-center placement, clips, die breaks, or other characteristics that appear to have occurred during minting. Fifth, compare your coin with trustworthy examples. And finally, if you believe you have something genuinely unusual and potentially valuable, professional authentication and grading may be worth considering. There is another important lesson here. Do not let the word damage convince you that you have discovered a rare coin. A damaged coin can be interesting, but damage usually does not create rarity. In fact, damage generally reduces collector value. A coin that has been scratched, cleaned, stained, corroded, or chemically altered may be worth less than an otherwise similar coin with its original surface. The exception is when what appears to be damage is actually a mint-created characteristic. That distinction can sometimes be difficult to make from a photograph alone. For example, a raised line caused by a die crack can look completely different from a scratch cut into the surface. A curved missing section from a genuine clipped planchet can look different from damage caused by a tool. An off-center strike can look spectacular, but it must be examined carefully to determine whether it was actually created at the mint. This is why experienced collectors do not simply ask, "What year is this coin?" They ask, "What variety is it? What condition is it? Is it authentic? Is the unusual feature mint-made? How scarce is it? And what have comparable coins actually sold for?" That is the difference between casual coin collecting and serious numismatics. Now let's return to our 2003 Philadelphia cent. If yours is a normal circulated coin with no significant error, don't be disappointed. Every coin has a story. The 2003 Lincoln Memorial Cent represents an important period in modern United States coinage, and collecting modern cents can be an excellent way to learn how mint marks, grades, errors, varieties, and market demand work. And remember, the word rare should be used carefully. A coin can be uncommon in a particular grade without being rare overall. A coin can be difficult to find in perfect condition, while millions of lower grade examples exist. And a coin can be visually unusual without having significant monetary value. That is why actual auction and sales evidence is more useful than an eye-catching price claim. Recent market records show that certified high-grade 2003 cents can bring tens or even hundreds of dollars, but these are specific coins with specific grades and market circumstances. One recent reported 2003 MS69 RD sale was about $179.95, while another was about $110. So if you discover a 2003 cent in your change, don't throw it away without looking. Turn it over. Check the date. Check the mint mark area. Look at the color. Study the surfaces. Examine the lettering. Look for genuine mint errors. And most importantly, don't clean it. Because sometimes the most interesting part of a coin is not what you can immediately see. It is the tiny detail that separates an ordinary coin from a collectible example. Before we finish, let's summarize the 4 categories we covered today. Number 1 is the ordinary 2003 Philadelphia cent with no mint mark. In circulated condition, it is generally a common coin and normally worth around face value. Number 2 is the damaged or discolored coin. Strange color alone does not make it rare, and post-mint damage generally does not add value. Number 3 is the genuine mint error coin. A dramatic, authenticated error can be much more collectible, depending on the type and severity of the error. And number 4 is the exceptionally high-grade coin. A superbly preserved 2003 cent can bring significantly more than face value, especially when professionally graded and certified. Recent sales provide examples ranging from roughly the tens of dollars for MS66, MS67 examples, to around $100 or more for exceptional MS69 RD examples. So do you have a 2003 Lincoln cent without a mint mark? Before spending it, take another look. You may have an ordinary penny, and that's perfectly normal. Or you may have a coin with an unusual feature worth investigating. Just remember, never assume a huge value based only on the date, the missing mint mark, or a strange color. The real value comes from rarity, condition, authentic mint errors, certification, and what collectors are actually willing to pay. If you enjoyed this coin hunting adventure, make sure to like the video, subscribe to change your life, and turn on notifications for more fascinating United States coin discoveries. And check your pocket change carefully, because sometimes the smallest coins can teach us the biggest lessons about history, collecting, and value. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next coin hunting adventure. Next up. Second coin. Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of United States coins, and our second coin in this exciting series is the 2004 Lincoln cent with no mint mark. If you have a 2004 penny sitting inside a jar, drawer, pocket, or old collection, take a closer look before spending it. You might be wondering whether 2004 penny without a mint mark is rare, whether unusual damage can increase its value, and whether strange-looking example could actually be a genuine mint error. But before we get into the exciting possibilities, we need to clear up one very important detail. A 2004 United States 1 cent coin is not technically a wheat penny. The classic Lincoln wheat reverse was used from 1909 through 1958. The 2004 coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial cent series. It carries Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So when you hear someone describe a 2004 coin as a wheat penny, remember that the correct identification is a 2004 Lincoln Memorial cent. Now let's talk about that missing mint mark. A 2004 Lincoln cent with no mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark on this type of business strike coin is normal. It does not automatically mean that the coin is an error or an ultra-rare discovery, and this is one of the most important lessons for every new coin collector. The date alone does not determine value. The absence of a mint mark does not automatically determine value, and unusual damage does not automatically determine value. Instead, collectors look at the entire coin. They examine the condition, surfaces, strike quality, varieties, mint errors, color, preservation, authenticity, and demand. So let's imagine that you have found one of these 2004 cents. The first thing you should do is look at the date. Make sure the coin actually says 2004. Then look below the date and examine the area where a mint mark would normally appear. If there is no mint mark, that can be completely normal for a Philadelphia business strike cent. Now turn the coin over. You should see the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Look closely at the columns, lettering, rim, and overall design. Does the coin have normal circulation wear? Are there scratches? Is the surface dull? Does it have brown or dark coloration? Does it look shiny because someone polished it? Or does it look unusually well preserved? These details matter. Our first example is the ordinary 2004 Philadelphia cent. Millions of ordinary modern Lincoln cents exist, and most circulated examples are not rare. If your coin has been heavily circulated and shows normal wear, its collector value is generally very limited. That doesn't make it useless. It simply means that the coin is common, and there is nothing wrong with a common coin. Every coin collector has to learn how to separate common examples from genuinely scarce ones. Now let's move to our second example, the damaged 2004 cent. This is where many people become excited because damage can create unusual colors and strange appearances. Maybe your 2004 penny has a dark brown surface. Maybe it has black spots. Maybe it has greenish discoloration. Maybe the edge appears different. Maybe there are scratches across Lincoln's portrait. Maybe the coin looks like it has been exposed to chemicals or moisture. At first glance, such a coin can look extremely unusual, but unusual does not always mean valuable. In fact, post-mint damage normally hurts a coin's collector appeal rather than increasing it. Think about what happens after a coin leaves the mint. It can spend years inside pockets, bags, machines, drawers, coin-counting machines, and containers. It can be exposed to humidity, chemicals, friction, and other environmental conditions. Those things can change the appearance of a coin, but they don't necessarily make it rare. This is why you should never clean your 2004 cent just because it looks dirty. Do not use metal polish. Do not use abrasive materials. Do not scratch the surface. Do not use household chemicals to try to restore the original shine. If you believe the coin might be collectible, preserving its existing surface is much safer than experimenting with cleaning methods. Now let's move to the third category, the possible mint error. This is where the story becomes much more interesting. A genuine mint error is something that happened during the production process. For example, a coin can sometimes be struck off center. Imagine a 2004 Lincoln cent where the design is dramatically shifted toward one side and part of the blank planchet remains visible. That could be an off-center strike. But not every strange-looking coin is an error. A coin can become bent after leaving the mint. It can be squeezed by machinery. It can be scratched. It can be damaged by another coin. It can even be deliberately altered. Therefore, collectors have to determine whether the unusual feature was created during minting or after the coin entered circulation. This distinction can make a huge difference. Another area collectors investigate is doubling. You might notice what appears to be a second image around the date or lettering, but be careful. Not every apparent doubling is a valuable double die variety. Mechanical or machine doubling can create a flat, shelf-like appearance that inexperienced collectors may mistake for a true doubled die. This is why magnification, good lighting, comparison with known examples, and professional attribution can be important. If you think your 2004 cent has a genuine major error, don't immediately believe a huge internet price estimate. First, identify exactly what you have. then investigate comparable examples. Then look for actual sales rather than asking prices. And if the coin appears important, consider professional authentication or grading. Now we reach our fourth and perhaps most interesting category, the exceptionally high-grade 2004 Lincoln cent. Modern coins can be surprisingly difficult to find in truly superb condition. Think about how many 2004 cents entered circulation. They were handled millions of times, they were carried in pockets, they moved through cash registers. They were mixed with other coins, they were dropped, they were stored together. All of those activities can leave tiny contact marks on the surface. But occasionally a coin survives with exceptional preservation. The color may remain attractive, the luster may be strong. Lincoln's portrait may have sharp details, the reverse may have minimal marks, the rims can be well formed, and the overall appearance may be far better than what you normally see in circulation. This is where professional grading can become important. A very high-grade certified modern cent can be considerably more interesting to specialized collectors than a normal circulated example. But remember, high-grade does not mean every shiny coin is valuable. A coin can look shiny because it was cleaned or polished. Collectors generally prefer original surfaces. A naturally preserved coin and a polished coin can look very different under magnification. So if you find a 2004 penny that looks unusually bright, don't automatically assume it is a rare high-grade specimen. Ask yourself whether the surface appears original. Look for hairline scratches. Look for unnatural brightness. Look at the fields around Lincoln. Examine the reverse. The smallest marks can make a major difference at the highest grades. Now let's talk about another important factor: color. Lincoln cents can display different colors depending on their condition and environmental history. You may see reddish, reddish-brown, or brown examples. However, unusual color by itself does not automatically create rarity. A collector should determine whether the color is original, naturally developed, environmentally caused, or the result of chemical treatment. This is particularly important with copper and copper alloy coins. A coin that has been chemically altered can sometimes look spectacular in a photograph, but have little collector value. Again, never clean the coin yourself. Preserve it exactly as you found it until you understand what you have. Now let's ask the big question. Could a 2004 no mint mark cent be worth hundreds or even more? The honest answer is that an ordinary circulated 2004 Philadelphia cent should not be treated as a high-dollar rarity simply because it lacks a mint mark. The potentially valuable examples are the ones with something genuinely special. That could be a significant and authenticated mint error. It could be a recognized variety. It could be an exceptionally high-grade certified specimen. Or it could have another characteristic that creates real collector demand. This is why coin collecting requires patience. You cannot determine the value of a coin simply by looking at a viral headline. You have to identify the coin, you have to determine its condition, you have to establish whether the unusual feature is genuine, and then you need to compare it with actual market results. Let's say you discover a 2004 cent that appears to have a major off-center strike. Don't clean it. Don't sell it immediately, don't scratch it, don't try to repair it. Take clear photographs, record the weight and dimensions if you have suitable equipment, examine the edge, study the date, look at how much of the design is missing or shifted, then compare the characteristics with recognized mint error examples. If the coin appears significant, professional evaluation can help. Now let's talk about auction value. An auction price is not a guaranteed price. One collector may be willing to pay more than another. A coin can sell for one amount at one auction and a different amount at another time. Condition, certification, rarity, eye appeal, competition among bidders and market trends can all affect the final result. That means when you see someone claiming that a 2004 penny is worth a specific huge amount, you should ask one question. Was that amount actually achieved in a documented sale for a comparable coin? That question can save you from a lot of confusion. For most viewers, the real treasure isn't necessarily finding a $1 million coin. The real treasure is learning how to identify what makes a coin collectible. Once you understand that, every coin becomes more interesting. A 2004 Lincoln cent can teach you about the Philadelphia Mint. It can teach you about mint marks. It can teach you about strike quality. It can teach you about circulation damage. It can teach you about errors. It can teach you about grading. And it can teach you why two coins with exactly the same date can have dramatically different collector values. So let's recap our 4 2004 coins. The first is the ordinary 2004 Philadelphia cent with no mint mark. This is normal and common in circulated condition. The second is the damaged or discolored example. It may look unusual, but post-mint damage generally does not create rarity or increase value. The third is a possible genuine mint error example. This is where you should look carefully for characteristics created during manufacturing, such as a significant off-center strike or another authentic error. The fourth is the exceptional high-grade example. A beautifully preserved coin can attract collectors, especially when it receives a strong professional grade and certification. And there is one final warning I want every coin hunter to remember: do not clean your coins. If your 2004 cent is dirty, dark brown, stained, or unusual looking, leave it alone until you know what it is. Cleaning can permanently alter the surface. A coin that looks unattractive to you may still have an original surface that a collector wants to see, so preserve first, research second, sell last. If you have a 2004 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, take a close look today. Check the date, check the mint mark area, check the reverse, examine the edges. Look for genuine mint-made characteristics. Look carefully at the condition. And don't confuse damage with a mint error. Most importantly, don't let an exciting headline convince you that every 2004 penny is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. The truth is more interesting. Most are common, some are better preserved, some have unusual characteristics, and a small number may deserve serious investigation. That's exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what you might discover until you look closely. So do you have a 2004 Lincoln cent with no mint mark? Tell us in the comments what condition your coin is in. Is it bright red, brown, dark, scratched, off-center? Does it have unusual doubling? Or does it simply look different from the other pennies in your collection? Remember, always research before selling, never clean a potentially collectible coin, and never assume a value based only on the date. If you enjoyed today's coin adventure, make sure to like this video, subscribe to change your life, and turn on notifications for more fascinating United States coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, keep checking your pocket change, and I'll see you in the next rare coin adventure. Next up. Third and final coin. Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today we have reached the third and final coin in our exciting series, and this time we are taking a close look at the 2007 United States Lincoln cent with no mint mark. This little 1-cent coin may look ordinary at first, but when you start examining the date, mint mark area, surface condition, color, strike, and possible mint errors, the story becomes much more interesting. So if you have a 2007 penny sitting in your pocket, coin jar, drawer, collection, or an old box of change, don't spend it just yet, take a closer look. Because today we're going to explain exactly what makes a 2007 Lincoln cent common, what can make one collectible, why damage does not automatically mean rarity, and what kinds of 2007 cents may attract stronger collector interest. But before we begin, there is one important correction. A 2007 United States cent is not technically a wheat penny. The Lincoln wheat reverse was used from 1909 through 1958. After that, the reverse design changed to the Lincoln Memorial. So when we talk about a 2007 coin, the correct name is a 2007 Lincoln Memorial cent. That distinction is important because many online videos use the words wheat penny for almost every Lincoln cent. But collectors identify coins by their actual design and type. Now let's focus on the 2007 coin. On the obverse, we have the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln. The inscriptions including God we trust, liberty, and the date 2007. Now look underneath the date. Do you see a mint mark? If you have a 2007 cent with no mint mark, that is not automatically an error. A no mint mark 2007 business strike Lincoln cent was produced at Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark is normal for Philadelphia cents of this type. This is one of the biggest mistakes new collectors make. They find a coin with no mint mark and immediately think the mint forgot to put the letter on it. But a Philadelphia cent is supposed to have no mint mark, so the missing letter alone is not the treasure. The real question is what else is different about your coin. And that is where today's 4 categories become important. Our first category is the ordinary 2007 Philadelphia Lincoln cent. This is the coin most people are likely to find. It may have been used in stores, carried in pockets, placed inside coin machines, dropped into drawers, or stored in a jar. After years of circulation, the coin can develop scratches, small contact marks, dull surfaces, and normal wear. These ordinary examples are generally common. And if your coin is simply a normal circulated 2007 Philadelphia cent with no significant variety or error, you should not expect a huge price. But don't be disappointed. A common coin can still be an excellent addition to a collection. The purpose of coin collecting is not simply to find $1 million coin. It is also about learning how coins were made, how they circulated, and what separates an ordinary example from an exceptional one. Now let's move to our second category, the damaged or discolored 2007 cent. This is where things can become confusing. Maybe your coin is very dark, maybe it has brown areas, maybe the surface looks reddish, maybe it has black spots, maybe there are scratches, maybe the coin has a strange shine, maybe the edge looks unusual. At first glance, a strange appearance can make a coin seem rare, but collectors know that unusual appearance and rarity are not the same thing. A coin can become discolored after leaving the mint. It can be exposed to moisture, it can react with chemicals, it can rub against other objects, it can be scratched by machinery, it can be polished, can even be deliberately altered. All of these things can make a coin look unusual, but they usually do not make the coin more valuable. In many cases, post-mint damage actually reduces collector appeal. This is why I want to give you one of the most important rules in coin collecting. Never clean a potentially collectible coin. Do not use metal polish. Do not use abrasive materials. Do not scrape the surface. Do not use household chemicals. Do not try to make the coin shiny. You might think you are improving the coin, but you could permanently damage the original surface. And once the original surface has been altered, you cannot simply undo it. So if your 2007 cent looks dirty or strange, leave it exactly as you found it until you understand what you have. Now let's move to our third category. The genuine mint era 2007 cent. This is where the excitement really begins. A mint era is different from damage. A mint era occurs during the manufacturing process. That means the unusual feature was created while the coin was being made. One example is an off-center strike. Imagine that your 2007 cent has the design dramatically shifted toward one side, leaving a noticeable area of blank planchet around part of the coin. That can be an interesting mint error, but even here identification matters. A coin can become bent or damaged after leaving the mint. A person can strike it, a machine can scrape it, another object can distort it. Therefore, you have to determine whether the feature is mint-made or post-mint damage. This is why serious collectors examine the entire coin. They look at the rim, they look at the edge, they examine the date, they inspect the lettering, they study the reverse, they compare the coin with known examples, and when necessary they seek professional attribution. Another area collectors sometimes investigate is doubling. You may see what appears to be a second image around the date or lettering, but be careful, not every doubled-looking coin is a valuable doubled die. Machine doubling can create a flat, shelf-like appearance that can easily confuse a beginner. A genuine double die variety and mechanical doubling are not necessarily the same thing. So don't look at one blurry photograph and immediately decide that your coin is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Identify the characteristic first, then research it, then compare it with recognized examples, and if the coin appears genuinely significant, professional evaluation may be worthwhile. Now let's move to our fourth and final category, the exceptionally high-grade 2007 Lincoln cent. This is an area that many casual collectors overlook. Modern coins may be common overall, but surprisingly difficult to find in extremely high grades. Think about what happens to a cent after it leaves the mint. It enters circulation, it is handled, it rubs against other coins, it moves through cash registers, it gets dropped, it spends time in pockets and bags. Every contact can create a tiny mark. For most circulated coins, those marks don't matter very much because the coin is already common. But at the highest levels of collecting, tiny imperfections can become extremely important. Imagine finding a 2007 cent with beautiful original color, strong luster, sharp details, and very few contact marks. That coin could be much more interesting to a Lincoln cent specialist than an ordinary circulated example. And if a coin is professionally graded and receives an exceptionally high grade, that certification can help establish its condition for the marketplace. But again, be careful. A shiny coin is not automatically a high-grade coin. Someone may have polished it. A chemically treated coin can also appear unusually bright. Collectors generally want original surfaces. That is why preservation is so important. If you think your 2007 cent may be a high-grade example, don't clean it, don't polish it. Don't rub it with a cloth, handle it carefully by the edges and protect the surface. Now let's talk about color. You may see 2007 Lincoln cents that appear bright red, others may look reddish-brown, others may appear brown, some may have dark areas because of environmental exposure. Color can matter to collectors, but color alone does not prove rarity. The important question is whether the color is natural and original or whether it resulted from environmental damage or chemical treatment. This is especially important when people see dramatic colors and immediately claim that the coin is a rare special color error. A strange color does not automatically equal a mint error. Sometimes it is simply chemistry and environmental exposure. This is another reason professional knowledge matters. Now let's discuss market value. This is probably the question you have been waiting for. How much can a 2007 no mint mark cent actually be worth? The honest answer is, it depends. A normal circulated example can be worth only face value. A coin with post-mint damage is generally not transformed into a valuable rarity simply because the damage looks unusual. A genuine major mint error can have much stronger collector interest. And an exceptionally high-grade certified example can also bring more than a normal circulated coin, but there is no single price that applies to every 2007 penny. That's because the coin market is based on individual characteristics. Think about two 2007 cents sitting side by side. Both have the same date, both have no mint mark, both were made in Philadelphia, but one may be heavily scratched and circulated, the other may be beautifully preserved. If the second coin has a much higher grade, the market can treat the two coins very differently. Now imagine a third coin. It has the same date and mint mark situation, but the strike is dramatically off-center. That is another completely different market category. And imagine a fourth coin with an authenticated variety or error. Again, the collector audience changes. This is why the date alone is never enough. You have to identify the complete coin. Let's talk about auctions for a moment. Auction values are especially important because an asking price is not the same thing as a sale price. Someone can list a 2007 penny online for $10,000. That dollars does not mean the coin is worth 10,000. Anyone dollars can ask almost any price. What matters much more is what comparable coins have actually sold for. This is a critical lesson for anyone watching rare coin videos. Don't judge value by the highest online listing. Look for documented sales of comparable examples. Consider the grade, consider the certification, consider the exact error or variety, consider the condition. And consider whether the sale is recent enough to reflect the current market. Now let's imagine that you have found a 2007 no mint mark cent that looks unusual. What should you do? First, don't clean it. Second, don't scratch it. Third, don't attempt to repair it. Fourth, take clear photographs under good lighting. Fifth, inspect both sides carefully. Sixth, examine the edge. Seventh, look closely at the date and lettering under magnification. And eighth, compare what you see with reliable numismatic references. If the feature looks significant, consider professional authentication. This process may sound slower than simply putting the coin online and claiming that it is worth thousands of dollars, but serious collectors know that accuracy is more valuable than excitement. And this brings us to an important point about the word rare. Rare does not simply mean unusual looking. A coin can be unusual but common. A coin can be damaged but common. A coin can be old looking but common. A coin can have a strange color but common. True rarity requires scarcity and collector demand. And sometimes a coin is rare only in an exceptional grade. That is why modern coins can still be interesting. They may be common in ordinary grades but much harder to find in the finest condition. Now let's return to our 4 2007 examples. Number 1 is the ordinary Philadelphia no mint mark Lincoln cent. This is the common example most people will find. Number 2 is the damaged or discolored example. It may look unusual, but damage that occurred after minting generally does not increase value. Number 3 is the possible genuine mint error example. This is where you should carefully investigate characteristics such as major off-center strikes or other authentic mint-created errors. And number 4 is the exceptionally high-grade example. Beautifully preserved coin with original surfaces and a strong professional grade can attract collectors who specialize in modern Lincoln cents. So if you have a 2007 penny, don't immediately assume you have a fortune, but don't ignore it either. Turn it over, look at it, study it, learn from it, because coin collecting is a game of details. One tiny feature can completely change the conversation. A missing mint mark may be normal, a scratch may be damage, a strange color may be environmental. But a genuine mint error or exceptional grade can create a much more interesting collectible. And that is why checking your coins is so much fun. You never know what you're going to find until you actually look. Before we end today's final coin segment, let's remember the most important lessons. A 2007 no mint mark Lincoln cent is generally a Philadelphia coin. It is not a wheat penny. The lack of a mint mark does not automatically make it rare. Damage does not automatically create value. Unusual color does not automatically mean a mint error. A genuine mint error must be distinguished from post-mint damage. High-grade condition can make a modern coin more collectible. Professional certification can help establish condition and authenticity. And actual market sales are much more meaningful than exaggerated online asking prices. So if you have a 2007 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, take another look today. Maybe it's an ordinary coin, maybe it's a damaged coin, maybe it's a surprisingly well-preserved example, or maybe you've discovered a characteristic that deserves further investigation. Whatever the result, don't clean it before you know what you have. Preserve the coin, research the coin, compare the coin, and only then think about its potential market value. If you enjoyed this third and final coin adventure, make sure you like this video, subscribe to change your life, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next exploration into rare and fascinating United States coins. And remember, the next interesting coin may already be sitting in your pocket. Thanks for watching, keep searching, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next coin hunting adventure. Next up.